Hi guys, and welcome to today's episode of the Spiritual Evolution Podcast. I'm your host Andrea, and I'm really excited to bring on today's guest. Her name is Kate. She's an incredible, amazing human being, and just a really, really genuine person that I felt was so easy to talk to, and the conversation flowed so easily. I'm definitely going to be having her on again because we still have a ton more questions that we never even got to because it was just so free flowing, and it was like meeting an old friend. Like, it was really like I felt like I've known this person before. So I hope you guys get that same energy and understand all of the things that we have in store for you today. So enjoy and have a great day.
First position, and it was from sitting in a meditation position. I got up and I couldn't put any pressure on it. Like, the EMTs came, and like the one really hot one was like, I've done this like 17 times. Like, you're going to be okay. You probably just popped your knee. Nothing's swollen. Everything is in place. Like, the hospital's probably not going to do anything. Give it a couple days. And in a couple, like 3 or 4 days, you'll be okay to walk. And like, it's been about 3 days, and I'm able to walk again. And it's definitely, it was just like I overextended it or something. But it was literally from like sitting in a meditation position. I was like, what is this fucking universe trying to tell me? I was like, damn.
Slow down.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Take a break.
That's what I did.
Up.
So many things like that. That's like right on point too.
It's, I think the reason why people are drawn to me is because I think, and I know that spirituality really is meant to be simple.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's gotten so convoluted. People have exasperated every little thing. And it's gotten to the point where people who grasp it no longer grasp it.
Yes, because it becomes overwhelming, and you get like I get overwhelmed with all the information, and I've had to accept like the information's always going to be there. Like, it's not going anywhere. Like, I'll be able to learn when the time comes for each little thing.
I literally pulled a card this morning. I have a book club that, I have like a whole like spiritual baddies book club. Because to keep everything attainable for everyone, because everyone's like, well, I can't afford this $8,000 mentorship. I can't afford this,
right.
that. It's crazy because everything should be accessible.
Exactly.
And so I started this book club. It's called the Spiritual Baddies Book Club, and it's cool because every month we do a book. And it keeps me on point, keeps me accountable.
Yeah, I like that.
I have to read something to keep me in point, but I also pull an oracle card every morning. This morning, I pulled a card, and it really just talks about, blocking out the outside noise.
And
that reminder that we have everything we need right inside of us. So I went into this great meditation before I jumped on here, and that's why I was ready to go, because I was all like chilling.
Yeah.
I actually have really, really, really bad anxieties, like bad. And
Me
so
too.
meditation is key for me. It's like a non-negotiable. I have to do it because otherwise I'm a mess. I have severe PTSD. I have ADHD. I have all the acronyms.
Me too, girl. I feel you. And I was like undiagnosed most of my life. So I just recently got, like an understanding about it more, because I went through a phase where I was like, everybody does have like their days where they're more distracted, or they're more anxious, or they're more, down. But there is definitely like there's highs and lows of it for everybody, I think. And it's just about like finding that, being able to maintain. And if you do need to, like, get the fucking help, like, because that's what it's there for. That's what it's there for. But I had, when I was younger, I was like, it's all big pharma. Like, I was such a conspiracy theorist when I was younger. And so, but my parents were also like anti, therapy and stuff like that. So I was like brought up in the idea that like you don't need it, but not everybody does, but like it's very like necessary for a lot of us, especially with the way that the conditioning and everything's kind of breaking down now. People are very confused, and rightly so. Because
I think what's important is I have a great story, and this is how I guide and teach. I love telling stories. I had been going through a really tough time emotionally. I was like dark night of the soul, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I started praying and reaching out to Archangel Raphael, who we all know is all about healing. And I was in meditation, and I kind of just like was in this place of desperation, to be honest with you, because I was in such a low place. And anybody who tells you that you can't reach out to your archangels or angels in a desperate space, don't know what they're talking about. You don't have to
Right.
be at a high vibration to attract angels. Angels are always going to jump in when you need them, as long as you call out to them. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, please give me the guidance. Archangel Raphael jumps into my life. And the first thing he did was give me the courage to reach out to my doctor.
Right.
The first thing he did was, it was like I was bombarded with advertisements, with things on TikTok even. I don't know if you saw all of the like ADHD, like TikTok things, like, better help. And it was like literally thrown in my face.
Yes.
And it was because I had reached out to Archangel, and my FYP was just filled of all the same things, because your guides will use that to kind of guide you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Archangel Raphael jumped into my life and literally pushed me to a place of getting help.
Right. And that's sometimes what we need. Like, I had so many dark nights, like dark years, it felt like, because I was living in addiction for so long and in an unhealthy relationship. And now luckily, like, I'm out of that, and I have, over 3 years sober, and I'm on the other side. Incredible. And I'm doing the things that, like, I really want. I'm starting, like, I'm eventually going to have a course launched. I'm working on the course for, like, shadow work around, like, different kinds of addictions, for, like, technology, shopping, food, like, whatever. Because, like, it all is love. It's all the same, like, chemicals in your brain, basically. Like, it's the same basic, like, idea. Like, it's,
well, they're all symptoms of bigger
like, a narcissistic relationship. It's, like, the same thing with any kind of, like, if you get into too deep with any kind of, like, unhealthy coping mechanism. And so that's what, it's not necessarily an addiction because you can function or whatever, but some people can function, but they're not actually, like, living to their full potential, living their, you know what I mean? Like, their genuine fulfillment or purpose.
Absolutely.
Like,
I was addicted to nicotine for years.
I quit cigarettes when I got pregnant, and it took me a few months into my pregnancy. I didn't get, like, right away. It took me a few months.
It doesn't, you've got to give yourself grace. You still did it.
Yes, that's all that matters, and I didn't go back.
It's important that we give ourselves the same compassion and grace that we give to everyone else.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Quitting, I was addicted to, it was bad. I was smoking like 2 packs a day because it was a coping mechanism. It was a coping mechanism. And I'll tell you, like, as soon as I quit, I started overeating. It wasn't because it was the nicotine withdrawal, which doesn't help, but it was because I was trying to cope a different way. There was a void inside of me. There was a lack of healing. And so it is, sobriety in any form or breaking any addictive paths is terrifying, because all of a sudden you're forced to confront, why was I coping? What was I coping with this? What was the reason? What void was I trying to fill? And that's terrifying. And that's what people misunderstand the dark night of the soul is. It's a reality check.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't, it doesn't have to, you're right. And the labels the misinformation has gotten so overwhelming too. And it's like, how do we, like, I understand, people are going to believe what they're going to believe. You can't make anybody see anything a certain way, but it's sad. It saddens me because there is so much good information out there, but then there's, like, so much BS too. And it's like, how do you, like, you have to use your discernment and really, like.
But it's like I said, think about it, right? Too much outside noise.
Right.
Connecting again with your higher self.
Right.
Because your higher self is always going to put you on the right track. Every single time. It was your higher self that was telling you for years, you got to get your shit together. Yes,
for years. The first time when I got into recovery, I heard about Reiki healing. Instantly, I was like, I need to know what this is. Right. But I was still so caught up with everything else. I never learned about it until finally, like, when I got pregnant with my son and when I moved and I bought the book, and instantly, like, as soon as I got the book and I started reading it, it manifested, my Reiki master manifested in a group that I was in, like, for.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I was, like, really, I wasn't surprised, but I was really, like, excited by it because I knew it was going to happen. I didn't question it. I didn't, like, manifest or do anything because I was still really new. I just, like, I always, from the second I heard that word, I was like, I'm a healer. And, like, that seems like the direction I need to go in. So that was really amazing because it was something that, like, showed me that, like, anything is possible. You know what I'm saying?
how the universe always unlocks doors that you never thought could be unlocked as soon as you close the
Absolutely.
door that wasn't meant for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Shocker.
Like what I've been being told my whole life. But
It's
yes, I
hard
do.
though when you're like standing this close to a picture, you know what I mean? Like to really see. Like to kind of
Yes.
take a step back and you look at it, because hindsight's always 20/20.
Mm.
But it is, like I said, you've got to block out that noise. You know, I got a lot of people who know me got me started. I got started as a witch. I, in my opinion, have completely ascended past that. Not to say that I don't still practice some forms of witchcraft. I've just heightened my energy to a point where manifestation is just my magic. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If I visualize it, it comes true.
Right.
And that's on healing.
Right.
And that's on raising your vibrations. And that's on, not, closing the doors that weren't meant for me.
And being
Allowing the
willing
universe to
to.
put me right where I was. Just like you talked about, how Reiki just happened to open up all those doors for me or for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And so I get it. I think the biggest thing that I literally stress to people is, and I learned this from my husband, who was like the least spiritual person in the world. Although he's like hardcore psychic and intuitive, but he would never like, you know what I mean?
Get into it. Right.
No, he's so indoctrinated. He did 22 years in the army. He's a war veteran, war hero. I mean, he's like decorated. You know what I mean? So I love him for that. I'm proud of him. He's lived a whole lifetime. He said to me in the military, they would always talk about KISS, which is keep it simple, stupid.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And it changed the trajectory of my entire spiritual practice when my husband came into my life, because we'll be married 4 years in October.
Oh, so, that's what day?
October 5th.
Okay. My birthday's in October.
I love the month of October, so it's always been a very special month for me for whatever reason, and so I vibe with it. And I don't even think it has to do with Halloween or anything like that. It's beyond that. I've just always excelled in that month. And I'm not an astrology guru, so don't ask me.
I know. That's one of like the biggest beasts, I think, that like you can take on. Like if you're gonna learn about astrology, like I commend you, because I don't think I can learn all of that information if I want to learn all the other things too. Like,
well, our brains are too traumatized.
Yes, like we know it. We know about it in our souls. Our souls know and understand
it. Makes sense to us. It resonates with us, especially when it comes to like the basics of it all. But when you've been through the amount of trauma with narcissistic abuse, with PTSD, with anything of that nature, I'm a domestic violence survivor. Like, when you've been through that much trauma, your brain is completely rewired for trauma responses, and for the retention of information from me is near impossible. But it almost feels like a blessing. It's a superpower if you think about it, because if you don't have all of those things, that logic stuff going on in your brain, it makes it so much easier for you to be a vessel.
Just live intuitively and just
to be in the moment, to be a vessel.
Yes,
to
being
be
open
to open up your soul channels and to receive the information from your guides, from your spiritual team, whomever you believe in. I mean, it all is really the same shit. We all just have terminology differences and labels.
Exactly. It's all just words.
It's all just labels. It's just like, it is what it is. But I mean, it all comes from the same source.
Right. Exactly. It all comes from the same, like, our energy is connected to something higher, and we're all connected to each other. So it's all the same. It's just different words. It's just different labels.
It's why I've gotten to a place in my practice where I think I used to be such a, like, wanted to call people out, like, oh, that's wrong, or this is that. I just don't care anymore.
Right. Because it's you get to a point where you see that if it's not their path, like, they'll figure it out when they're meant to figure it out. Like, if I can just be a way shower in living my truth, living my highest potential. And I learned that with within the last couple of years, when I, after having my son, he changed my whole perspective on everything. And obviously being single and being on my own for the last couple of years, which I haven't been in almost a decade, like, it changed my whole view of, like, I just have to live for me. I don't have to be so worried about everybody else and, like, if they're doing okay. Like, am I doing okay?
It's not your responsibility.
Exactly. And once you, like, start to work on yourself, you set out that vibration, you set out that energy, and people start to resonate and see, oh, they're a lot more happier than, like,
ever, I've ever seen them or whatever they think, like, and then they start to live a little bit more like their genuine highest self.
Or
And so,
that
yeah,
or they go do their thing and you go do your thing.
exactly. Or, and it doesn't, it should, either way, it doesn't matter because the expectations kind of screw everything up.
Right. Surrendering to the process and not holding on to expectations. It's so powerful.
Right.
And it's hard.
Yes.
I mean, I've been doing this forever and it's hard.
It is. It's hard not to be like let down if something doesn't I expect my podcast to be easy to edit. Like in the beginning, I had to re-record that's why we don't do Zoom. I had to re-record my end, like the first 3 episodes. I had to listen to their end and figure out what I said and then edit all of it. It took like weeks to edit each one. It was really, really difficult in the beginning. And, I was like, that I could be like, this is a sign not to do it, or I can push through and like,
right. And I love that you said that.
Yeah.
I love that you said that because too many people are in this mindset. If things get difficult or hard, it means you're not meant to do it. No. Mm-mm. It's to see how badly you want it.
You want it. Exactly.
How badly do you want it? Are you going to keep pushing yourself out there?
Every single time. Exactly. Even if you get, and I've been listening to a lot because I'm looking for the right, coaching, or not really coaching, but like program to invest to help me like get my business off the ground, whatnot. And listening to a lot of different like webinars and like stuff. And this guy, he talks about how we have to be willing to accept that
stuff up in here, so
we have to be willing to see that like everything's not always going to work out the first time, the second time, the 21st time it might work. If you do it 20 times, you say I give up, the next time it might have worked out for you. Like it's going to work eventually. Sorry. You're good. It's fine. I love it. I love kids. I am a kid.
She's hiding because it's time for she went number 2 and
Oh, you can go if you want. I can, like, you're good. If you have to take care of her, you're good. We have time.
My husband, I'm laughing.
Oh.
We have a joke that, I'm manifesting a door for my office.
Oh, that's cool. I see what you mean. Oh my God, yeah.
But the way our house is set up, it's like a really big manifestation.
Right. My office is in my living room. Like my desk is in the corner in my living room. That's why I'm in my room, because I have a separate desk in my room for my podcast. Girl,
I get it. We do. I was a single mom 2 times over.
Mhm. Right.
So I'm here. I mean, like, it's part of the reason why I am so laid back is because I've made a shit ton of mistakes.
Like just today, my son, like, he tripped and he hit his mouth, and he, he cried for a minute, and he had a little bit of a fat lip. It went down. He's fine. But like, I didn't like freak out. I told him like, you're okay. You know what I mean? Like the less that we freak out, the like more calm they're going to be about whatever happens, because like, I have had to learn he's a boy.
Then, because the last thing we want to do is have their spark put out like ours was when we were kids.
Right. And just let them express themselves. Exactly.
Yeah, I just, I comfort my little lady or my son, and, they're usually okay. It's not a big deal. They don't have to, exaggerate the emotions to get the attention, because I'm already I'm already comforting them. I'm already letting them know it's okay. It's okay to cry because you got a boo-boo. Boo-boo sucks. Right. Boo-boos really, really suck, okay? If mommy gets boo-boos, mommy doesn't like them either. I usually cuss up a storm, but...
Yo, when I couldn't get up I was like, calling my mom, I was like, I can't put any pressure. I was freaking out.
Oh, it's terrifying.
It was terrifying. He was luckily napping, but like, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm so lucky that my mom was able to, come over and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have to go to the hospital.
Old, so I now meditate laying down.
Yes, I love that.
Too much like in a pretzel formation, I'm fucked. I just turned 40, so I'm over here like,
yeah. I'll be 28 a month from today. I'll be 28. So that's exciting. My knees have always been like shit. So I knew I had no business being in that like Lotus, but like I always try it
all the time. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. But
just overdo it. And that's so true. Like, it's very, very true. My guides are always telling me to slow down and just like breathe, because I'm like a ADHD, anxiety, or like all over kind of person.
Yeah, have you ever heard of the 80-20 rule or the 20-80 rule?
Mm-mm.
So I'm not like really learned in it, but I do kind of swear by it to the little basic bits that I understand. When you're so focused on doing 80%, you're only going to get 20% results.
Mm.
But working smarter, not harder, and you work that 20% and then you go live your life for the rest of the 80, you get the 80.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's so true. If you do, excuse me, if you do like one task at a time, like give yourself that space to do that one task without worrying about the next things on your list, because
Yeah.
like that's what I do. I get overwhelmed with looking at the whole list instead of looking at one thing at a time.
So
And
every
then
morning I wake
it's fine.
up and I have like an overall list. And I have
Hmm.
ADHD, so I get it. So I have an overall list of things that need to get done. Okay. And there's things that are non-negotiables that I do every day. Like every single day I do the dishes. Every single day I do a load of laundry. You know what I mean? Like those
Hmm.
type of things. But then I write 3 things on my list that I'm going to get done. That's it.
Right. Right. Instead of like for me, like when I start my morning, I always have to meditate for like 10, 15 minutes.
But
And
that's
then
routine. That's non-negotiables.
right, right. And then you do those and like a couple little things in the morning for yourself. And then you have the rest of your day to set out, like you said, like 2 or 3 instead of like 6 or 7 things. Like,
Right. Because
yeah,
that way, when you get those 3 done, you've done them to a point where they're actually done the way you really would want them to be done,
and you're
as opposed
satisfied.
to rushing through them.
Right.
Trust me, that was a really hard lesson for me to learn because and then the other thing is you don't beat yourself up at the end of the day
Yeah, right. You don't have
because you're
that
like, oh, I didn't get
shame.
all 6 done. I didn't get all 20 done. I got the 3 done though.
Right.
I got the 3
Yeah.
done and I'll usually kind of mix it up. Like I'll do one really hard one thing that I kind of sorry, one thing that I like have been putting off for a while. It's not that it's
Right.
hard, I
Yeah.
just
It's
didn't want
something
to
you
do
don't
it.
want to do.
And
Yeah.
then one
Right.
easy thing like, go to drop some mail off at the post office, like big, no
Hmm.
big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. This is awesome. I'm so happy. I haven't even really had to like you told me about your journey. Like I'm really excited. This has been really easy. I haven't had to like
I'm
bring out the
easy.
questions. But yeah, like so what are because I remember I saw one of the first videos I saw from you and I still use that like upgraded version of that 12D shield.
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
Love it. It's amazing. And yeah, I was really grateful about for like. So, do you have any thoughts other than that on like protecting your energy in the astral and the physical, like in
You're not
general?
gonna like my answer, but I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
Prayer,
Okay.
whatever you call it, whatever you want it. It doesn't matter what you call it. There's a big difference
Mhm.
between psychic protection and spiritual protection.
Okay.
When we're so focused on psychic protection, we're using our own energy, which is very draining and depleting and will only last for so long because we have to constantly restoke and fuel the fire, right? We're constantly having to go outside and ground. We're constantly having to drink water. We're constantly having to do all these things. Whereas when you start to lean on your spiritual protectors, whether you call them your light beings or your angels and your guides, prayer.
Yeah, just asking for that protection,
Because they
right?
always will, because they're on your side. That is why they're here. They're here to help you. They're here to guide you. They're here to protect you. They're here to help you manifest. That's why they're here.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
But
No,
this
but
is
yeah.
literally like the epitome. Like you should leave this in because this is me.
No, I will. Oh my God, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
usually don't really take much
this is
out.
why people love me because I'm so relatable. Because it's like
Yeah.
you either love me or hate me. We're like, oh my God, there's too much chaos going on. Or it's like, oh, she's a normal woman. She's a
Yeah.
mom. She's a wife, and she has this connection to the divine. But it seems like doable. Like I can do this, and that's why I
Right.
say to people, it's like if you're constantly in this place of psychic protection, where you're working so hard to physically manifest this bubble around you,
Hmm.
it's exhausting.
Right,
And by
because
the
you're
end of the
pushing your
day,
energy
you're
out.
done,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So as opposed to, here's another way, I learned this from my mentor, Josie Grouse. She's on YouTube. She's who I've been learning mediumship from. I love her. I mean, I'm naturally gifted. I connect naturally, but she's helped me, learn stuff
Yeah.
like this. And she talks about the sphere of light. The sphere of light is very simple because it's kind of like the sphere of light that we do on our own, where we kind of envision this golden bubble or protective bubble, but you're calling light beings in our angels. And so when you're kind of in this place, you get into your meditative, you ground really quick, and you go kind of call in angels to my right, and you kind of feel them kind of pull in. You'll feel them walk in, and you kind of connect your energy to them. And you go angels on your left, and you connect your energy that way. You'll feel the connection. It's really
I feel
important to
like they're
connect.
coming in now.
Oh yeah, I'm because I'm an activator and a catalyst just naturally. Don't ask me how, I just do it. And then you're gonna kind of feel this now. You'll feel this too. Angels in front of me. and you're going to connect. You're going to feel that energy, literally connect to them. Now, the same thing behind me, angels below me, or angels behind me. You're going to feel that energy, like a warm, tingling kind of step up behind you. You're going to connect your energy. Okay?
This is so cool.
Angels above me and angels below me.
All right. I love that. I
And
really
you can
like
feel
that.
the difference.
I do, and I've heard this before. I just forgot about it, but I love it. And I've heard it before. I forgot it existed. But that really
But it's very
feel that.
similar to the 12D shielding, because the 12D shielding, which you love, is literally connecting to higher sources for that protection.
Right. And
You're
you
also
know,
connecting to higher chakra points.
right. And I have been with like when I do that shield, it's become more of a Merkaba around me. Like,
Oh yeah. And this
it
is
like,
really powerful. And if no, I don't know if I've ever heard me speak about this, but I call it the Merkaba too. Like, so and I actually have one right here. But if anybody who's listening who doesn't know what a Merkaba is, it looks like a David star.
I have this one. I love these things.
I'm obsessed with them. I have them all over the house.
I do too. I have like
I just love
crystals
them
all over.
What's really cool, and in the Merkaba is connected to Archangel Metatron, who was Enoch, and Enoch became ascended to the side of God, and became Archangel Metatron, and not a lot of people know that.
No, I didn't.
Just
know
like Archangel Sandalphon, they call Metatron and Sandalphon the brothers, so to speak, the twins, because they're the only two archangels that were at one point human and then ascended in their passing to the side of God, universe, source, whatever. And so he was Elijah, the prophet Elijah. So the prophet Elijah became Archangel Sandalphon, and Enoch, the book of Enoch, became Archangel Metatron.
Wow, I didn't know
when you
that.
make the connection to the history things, it really becomes so much more powerful, because now you're connecting the Merkaba to Archangel Metatron, and you're realizing the divine connection it has, and it just takes that level of protection, that enlightenment, that much farther, because
right, and the human connection that they have as well makes
and that's
it
why
that
I
much
love
better.
working with Metatron and Sandalphon, because they understand human emotions.
Right. Yes.
It's not like working with Michael, when Michael comes in and it's like a warrior energy and it's fire and you're brimstone and you're just like, woo, hold on.
Yes, because I've also heard about like how people can, angels can be intimidating and whatnot, but I don't feel like intimidated by it. Me either. I don't like I not even by like the scarier pictures, like the eye pictures. I think that stuff's cool. Like I don't find it scary.
A lot of those people, and this is with grace and love, are working with very low vibrational energies.
And they don't realize it, right?
Right. And so what happens is, when something such a high vibrational energy comes in, and this is not knocking their path. I feel like we're a beautiful, connected, woven masterpiece of a quilt, and we're all have our own path. And so that might just not be, angels and archangels might just not be their path. And so that's why it just doesn't work for them.
Right. It doesn't, not everything's going to resonate with everybody. Exactly.
And that's okay.
Right. And that's how it's true. That's how it's meant to be.
Because it really is powerful that, we need witches, we need mystics, we need the left-hand path, we need the balance of it all. Because if we were all just light, and we were all love and light, or we're all just this, none of it would make sense.
Exactly. There wouldn't be. Right. Oh man, I'm so excited I get to talk to you. This is great. So
this is fun.
Yeah, I really am excited. So yes, this is another one I was interested in. You've been a mom for a little longer than me, so I'm curious how you are like consciously parenting while like reparenting your inner child and staying, like without indoctrinating them, but teaching them and making like finding that fine line, stuff like that. Because I'm obviously, like, I've been told, what they ask me about from other mothers, what they ask me about, I tell them about, but I'm not like, you need to learn this. But I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
So with my 12-year-old, we have a lot. We communicate a lot. We have discussions, him and I, one-on-one. And I feel, and I've taught him, it's my job to teach him how to assimilate into culture and society if he chooses to. It's still like it's a skill he should have.
Right.
However, I do at home, where he's not going to be judged and he's not going to feel, like get made fun of or anything like that, we absolutely open up the lines of communication and we talk about other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I do teach him, like, hey, like, this is what's going on. This is what people believe. If you want to get this haircut to fit in with your friends, if not, hear whatever. But I do feel as a parent, we have a responsibility to give them the choice.
Yes.
To be able to turn it off and turn it on, because how powerful of a skill is it to be able to do whatever you want? Not everybody is gifted the opportunity of, I know how to talk the talk when I need to, but I can still come home at the end of the day and be as woo-woo as I want.
Right, yeah.
Because we still have to live in the 3D.
Yes.
Not everybody's going to be a spiritual leader. Not everyone's going to be a tarot reader. We still need doctors. We still need lawyers. My son loves machines and mechanics and all those things.
Right.
So it's important for him to be able to go out and get that type of job if he wants it. And if he's, unfortunately, with the culture that we have, the society that we have, I feel like personally, and this is just my opinion, it would be a disservice to him if I didn't allow him to be knowledgeable of all the things.
Right. And not understanding that, like, just because you understand this doesn't mean everyone else does.
Right.
Yeah.
And to learn how to read the room.
Right. Absolutely.
Know your audience.
Absolutely.
It's so important, because people forget, not that long ago, people who called themselves a witch, and I live in the South, by the way. I'm in Tennessee, so we have to be even more careful about what we do. People were really ostracized. It wasn't much that long ago that people like me or you who said they talked to spirits or dead people would be literally put in institutions.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, I've met women who are my age who came from very fundamental Christian backgrounds here in the South or from wherever, but I've met them here, and they were literally put in institutions and lost their children.
Yeah. Like, that's mind-bending. It's very...
And that's what I try to express to people, not to put you in a place of fear, but, it's just like, when we had the whole, this horrible thing going on in the country about abortion and feminist rights and feminism.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's about reading the room and knowing if you're in a safe space or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. That's so true. That's such a good point. Because you need to...
Our number one job as parents is to make sure that we protect our children.
Absolutely.
That is above everything else, to keep them safe. My son is part Black, and so I have to have those conversations with him as well. In this day and age, not everyone is your friend, and not everybody is going to be on your side. It's real stuff that we have to have a whole conversation of. As my family comes up here, and this is my life. This is just who I am. You will always see me with an annoying, clingy husband or a crazy daughter or a cat. Really,
it's so cute. I love it.
But this is because, and I show it as much as I can.
I can't reach her.
Because I want people to see that this is real life and this is spirituality.
Come on.
Right, and you can do. You don't have to choose one or the other. Like,
no,
yeah.
Why? Because what's more spiritual than motherhood?
Right, and also embodying the human experience, because that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. Like, yes, we're here to be like the spiritual leaders that this planet needs right now, but it's more than, it's not just that. It's both. We have to experience being human at the same time.
And another thing that my husband taught me was about toxic leadership. And in the military, he always talked about the toxic leaders would always, do as I say, not as I do. You have to leave from the front of the pack.
Yeah.
I have to walk the walk. And what's more spiritual than me showing everybody how I mother or how I relate to my husband or real life? This is real, because we could be in the astral all we want. We can do all the things that we want, but we're still going to live here in the 3D. I still have to pay bills. Right.
And there's still like things that need to be done regardless, because we are here in this realm, and that's like something that we wanted. So let's have a good time here while we're here, and be willing to experience all of the things, the good and the bad. And it doesn't, like, because it can become escapism too. With
because honestly, ask yourself, why do we do all this? Why are we healing?
Right.
No,
and it's like, no, I know. It's a good
healing?
question. for not just for myself, it's for my kids, for my baby, and for his babies, and for every for the generations to break
for love.
the cycles. But yeah,
For that.
yeah, it's because if we don't, then it's gonna be on them. And yeah.
Don't mind. Don't be crazy downstairs. I can't even hear.
But yeah, if we don't do it now, like and it's something like we're conscious of now, and so it's even more like it's not really something I feel I have a choice, because now that I know and I'm aware, if I don't, I'm doing not only a disservice to myself, but to my my children and my son and his kids someday, and those, you know what I'm saying?
Transparency is the key, girl.
Right.
Take the
Yes.
mask off.
Authenticity.
Really. And I'm not saying you're even wearing one. I mean, I know how it is. It's like the pressure to get your podcast out and provide a lifestyle for your child, especially when you want to raise your kid.
Right.
It's hard.
It is. And it's like you want to make, like when I was I've always wanted to make the world a better place. Like that's always been something that's like been close to my heart since I was really little. And it's something that like I realize I can't do it from the outside. I have to start here. Like I have to do it from here.
Well, you have to take the pressure off yourself to think that you're even responsible for saving the world.
Exactly.
You have to remember that the way you save the world is by saving yourself first. Absolutely.
And that's something that I think I'm still learning. Like I think I'm still accepting, because like I feel
learning, because you know your soul knows.
Right.
It's letting go of the control, letting go of the control of the outcome. And trust me, this is something I'm very familiar with because I struggle with it as well. Like I have this innate desire, this goal of mine to save the world, do all these things, but I can't do it if I don't save me first. It's just impossible.
No, it doesn't work. Exactly. It doesn't.
And here's the other thing. What we're meant to heal, what we're meant to learn is what we're meant to share and guide people with.
Yes. And our experiences are meant to be something that other people can resonate with. And you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like things that I went through was for something for me, obviously, to learn and evolve from, but so that the people going through it now can learn and evolve, seeing like my stories, hearing my stories, like seeing, like learning how I healed, and maybe learning a way that they can heal from that, like taking something out of my toolbox, whatever.
It's what I mean? Stress to everyone. I say, listen, I'm not a perfectionist. I don't know everything, but I do know what worked for me. And I don't share anything with other people that I just found on Instagram. It's everything that I've used myself, and I know for a fact that it helped me.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Tell me, like, what do I do to protect myself better? I'll tell you, for me, the one thing that's always worked is prayer.
And that makes sense. That like I felt that when you called the angels, and I really felt that. And like I've always resonated with angels, and I actually have Metatron like in my like incense in my drawer right here. Like I love Metatron too. So it's really funny that you like told me like his backstory, because I can really like I feel like I want to meditate with him after this now.
Oh, I love working with Metatron. I mean, Metatron is the key holder, the gate guard to the Akashic records.
Exactly. And that's why I try and save his incense for when I'm like really gonna go into meditation, because I want
you don't need to do all that. You don't need to save anything, use it. Because that's why you're, that's that lack mentality. If we want to start talking about law of attraction and manifestation, you want to go down that path, girl, I'll fucking talk about that too. I mean, I do.
I was gonna ask you about your like favorite manifestation, best, number one manifestation form that you have found works, and all prayer? Of the things.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried it all, and it all works to a degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I'm a big. I love like Abraham Hicks. I love Neville Goddard. I love Eckhart Tolle. I love all the OGs, and they were all. And I'm, next month in our book club, we're doing The Power of Now, our Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, and it's such a powerful book. I just found it on Amazon too for like $4, and so I was like, yeah, we're doing this, guys. We're doing this next month, and it's such an awakening book because it really talks about the I am, and how all of that magic and all of that manifestation and that godlike power. Because it's old school, so they refer to God more so than source and creator, which is all the same shit. And, it really talks about like you are, I am everything that I desire because I am.
Right. And have you heard of the God Code by, I have it right here. Oh my God, Greg Braden.
Yeah.
I like it. Do you like it?
I haven't read it yet, but I have it like on my shelf. And that's part of the reason why I started the book club, because I jokingly call it like, I'm your personal trainer. You know, how many times have we bought all these books and then they go on the shelf and then we never read them?
I know. I gotta check it out. I want to look into it because like
it's really fun. It's really accessible because I charge $8.99 a month, and every single day I literally like serve on a platter an audible of the of the chapter we're reading.
Oh, cool. So you don't have to even get the book.
No, you don't even have to get the book, but a lot of people, if you're visual,
Nice.
like, I'll actually have the book here just because I just recorded. But we're doing The Happy Home, which is such a dope book because it says it's your guide to creating a happy, healthy, wealthy life using Feng Shui.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna have to
and I've
link
already
into
like
this.
it's been so cool because, you know, a lot of times there's so many different types of Feng Shui, and this is the flying star, the classic Feng Shui that's, you know, 4,000 years old, because it talks about, you know, how everything we do, we have to do with intention, because that's what we don't do anymore. If you think about how homes are built here in America now, they're all just slapped up. There's no real intention. But
no,
you know,
like love, right?
Right. And so they're talking about, you know, back in the day, 4,000 years ago in ancient Asia, you know, everything was built a specific way because, you know, the sun would rise over here and, you know, everything was built with intention.
Based on the stars, yeah.
So the problem is with the westernized Feng Shui, and I learned, and that's why it never worked for me, which is it's called black hat Feng Shui. It's because there's no direction involved. It's just like walking to your home and the farther left-hand corner is your money corner. But that doesn't make any sense because that far left-hand corner could be your southeast corner. It could be your west corner. It could be your northern life area.
That's so funny. Mine's my southeast. That's funny.
It is your southeast. So your southeast corner is your prosperity corner.
Right. Okay, so it does work.
It does work. But
for some people, it doesn't.
But if you put the southeast corner, if it's, you know, I had somebody go to me, I posted something about your left corner, which is your southwest corner on TikTok. And somebody was like, oh, ha ha ha. That's, you know, that's also my money corner. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, in the most loving way. I'm like, and that's why you're struggling still. You know, it is really as simple as intention. Like I tell people, and what she talked about in the book, you know, because everyone was getting overwhelmed when they first got the book because every chapter is a new life area. And I was like, guys, you're overthinking this.
Yeah.
You're literally overthinking this. Just go into the area and take stock of it. You can come back later and put enhancements in, but it's starting to learn the energy of your home because everything has an energy.
Oh, yes.
And if you
everything...
think about it, right, and she talks about this in the book, this is by Patricia Lohan. She talks about how, you know, our windows, it's important to keep them clean because that gives us clarity.
I know. Yes, I've seen that.
That's
about when you're cleaning with intention. Yes. And when you want clarity, to clean your windows. I get that's the kind of meme I saw. It said, like, if you need clarity on something, go clean your windows.
It's
and
true.
Like that's
it's
the connection.
True. Yes, it's so true. And then, you know, about making sure you use your front door all the time, at least once a day. And when you open it with the intention of bringing in beautiful energy, healing energy, abundant energy, just with that intention is powerful. I mean, yeah, you can blow some cinnamon in there with it, but really the intention is what is putting, because you can just blow cinnamon in there, but it doesn't mean anything if the intention's not in it.
Right. You can do anything you want, but like if you're just doing it because you saw it and you don't really know the meaning, like, or like at least setting the intention yourself, if you're just doing things willy-nilly, it's not going to work because you're not putting your own energy and your own like essence of what you really want and into it, and like telling the herbs what to do, all that. It's like it makes a difference. I was going to ask you also about conscious cooking, like how you go about like making, like preparing meals in a conscious way.
Secret? I don't consciously cook. I let my ancestors lead the way. I'm an intuitive cook.
Cool. Yes, I've heard about that too. I've been learning about intuitive eating and all that. So you just kind of like channel.
I made a shepherd's pie last night. Well, technically it's a cottage pie because shepherd's pie is made with lamb and beef is cottage pie. Just so you know, I learned that because I have a lot of ancestry in England and in Scotland and Ireland, that whole area, and so a lot of my food tends to gear towards that. And so when I go in the kitchen, I sort of just let it flow. And I'm like, oh, I put this and this. I'm like, and it's powerful because what's more loving than from your loving ancestors?
Right.
That's where that magic
Absolutely.
comes from.
That's really beautiful. Yes, because my mom, well, she, like, my family, like, are big cooks. They're Italians. They love to cook everything.
I grew up in
And
Philly. I took mostly Italian because of it, because I grew up in a very Italian affluent area. And
mhm.
so like I was cooking braciole and I was making, fresh mozzarella by the time I was 16.
Yeah, yes, like, and I help my mom, and I've made like some stuff, but my mom, she likes to cook for me, and I have to get in there and start learning more, because like I can cook if I like watch, if I like know it and I can do
So
it, but I
she ain't
want to
gonna
start
never let
learning
you in
more.
that kitchen until you move out. And it's like,
I am moved out. I'm out. It's my
I know, but it don't matter.
kitchen.
Those Italian mamas, they show up and they're gonna bring the food. It's not until you're like married, or even then, she's still gonna bring food.
Right. It's so true.
You got her
It's so
grandbaby. You're
true.
done.
Exactly. That's why you think she lives with me. It sounds like she does.
Oh, I know, girl. I get it. I mean, my mom is a far more removed than like your mom in the sense where like attachments and stuff. But like, I've had lots of friends who are Italian, and it's like,
My mom
yeah.
just said bye.
Oh, girl, I trust me. I get it. I'm
Mhm.
like that with my kids.
Yeah.
Because and
Yeah.
that's how I've been healing my motherhood wound, is by being the mom to them that I always needed. And that's
Right.
also on inner child, healing,
Healing,
because
yes.
I'm living vicariously through them by providing them all the love and all the support that I didn't have.
Yes, and that's how I feel too. I feel like with when I'm doing things with my son, like what I just had a peanut butter jelly sandwich with him, and it was like I haven't had one of those in years, like it was really
People
nice.
love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah, like I felt like my inner child was like
You want to
smiling,
really have fun? I went and got like really cool like cookie cutter shapes, like dinosaurs and stuff. So
Yeah.
we make PB&Js together, and then we like cut out into like dinosaurs, and we play with our food.
Oh my God, I love it. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, my husband, who's like so hardcore army, like whatever, even he will get in on it. And like it's been really fun
That's
watching
so
my
cute.
husband heal his inner child with me, because I'm just a very playful, silly person. Like, as you
Yeah.
see, like that's why we're all so comfortable with each other.
Mhm.
We're just That's just how we are. And that's what I explained to everybody. It's like, just be yourself.
Mhm. And just live authentically, like for what's like authentic to you, like what do you enjoy doing, and asking those questions, like what does your inner child want to do today,
My inner
like
child likes to shit talk, and so I like to shit talk my husband.
I love that.
We're that's just how we're both really into to football. I'm an Eagles fan. He's a Rams fan. So we do a lot of shit talking on
Okay.
the weekends. I'm a Philly girl. Like I was, Philly girl. We always jokingly, I lost my accent a lot unless I've had a cocktail or two. But yeah, and he's my Cali boy. So it's just,
Aw.
it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
I want to actually talk about that with you, because it's something that I'm really passionate about, is the whole love journey, because I think love has become really, really taboo. And it's like, oh no, like, and women have become so, they're talking about wanting to be in this divine masculine energy or divine feminine energy, and like what they don't realize is that they're becoming even more masculine.
I can see that.
Because to be a divine feminine is to be in a place of receiving.
Mhm.
And it's also in a place of, we can be a little, look at the yin and yang. Okay. So men are light, women are dark, by according to the yin and yang. And on either side, at the hearts are opposite.
Yeah.
We have that light heart, but we have darkness around us.
Mhm.
So people think that we're supposed to be this dark, spooky, feminine energy, and we can have an edge, we can do all the things, but we're
Yeah.
supposed to have love in our heart always.
Right.
Whereas men, they tend to be better at, putting on this personification of like, everything's fine, but they hide in their heart the pain that they,
So true.
where we
Wow.
kind of wear our pain on our sleeves, right?
Yeah, that's
So the whole
really.
point is what people fail to realize is, when you're getting those butterflies, when you're meeting someone, that is your spiritual team saying, bitch, run. That's not chemistry.
Right.
Look back at all the relationships you've ever had, and you had that instantaneous, like,
Yeah.
It was
Like,
your literal like fight or flight response, saying, "No, bitch, run."
Oh my god. And
Them
I'm
some
like,
evil butterflies.
yeah. Oh,
Not that the
listen,
butterflies are evil, but it was like, think about it. It's a sickening feeling,
no,
like a lack of like attachment issues triggered. Think about it.
girl, like that is exact description like of how my relationship went from like the good butterflies to like a pit in my stomach when I was on my way to hang
Those
out.
butterflies
Like,
are like spirit saying, "Girl, you might want to pay attention here. I don't think this is a good fit."
yes. Oh my god. So like
Because
that
looking back,
really
I
is.
didn't have those butterflies with my husband.
Yeah.
We were like friends for years,
Yeah. Really?
literally.
That's amazing though. That's nice though. Like to have that
I love telling
bond
the story
built.
because I think it's so important. He was married to someone else and I was married to somebody else when we met. We were just, it was all, there was nothing happened. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
He separated first and then I separated about 2 years later. I moved back to the same town. We were, he was just really, really supportive when my ex-husband was really, really violent. And Sean was one of the people that kind of helped me get back on my feet. When I moved back into the old house, like he showed up at my house with like air mattresses for me and the kids before our stuff had gotten there with the moving truck. Like he's just a lovely guy.
Wow.
He's literally a saint. And, I'll never forget this. And I tell the story all the time for a reason. We first sort of like, I could tell things were moving in that direction. And I got freaky. I got scared because I was like, "Ooh, I'm crazy." So I set him down and I said, "Sean, I'm going to tell you something. If we're going to do this, you've got to understand something. I'm crazy." Just like that.
Right.
I'll never forget it. He's sitting on the couch. I'm standing up and I'm like all amped up and I'm like kind of like anxiety is like at the brim because I'm like, oh my God, this is really going to fucking happen. Like I can feel it, like whatever. And I was like, I'm crazy. And from that moment on, it was the authenticity that he fell in love with.
Right. Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
So I tell all of my single ladies that I mentor and my clients, I tell them all the time, I'm like, listen, just be yourself. If you're fucking crazy, be crazy.
Yeah.
Don't pretend to be something you're not. Don't try to be like the perfect little girlfriend at the beginning where you're doing all these things because it's not. First of all, you know how people can only hold on to a personification of themselves for 3
For so
months.
long. Oh, okay.
That's scientifically proven.
Yeah.
At the very most, 3 months. If you ever look back in your relationships, pay attention to when things started to shift. It was always about that 3-month mark.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
Because what happens is, you can literally only wear the mask for that long. Anything.
Yeah.
So what happens is, and we are not accountable as women, we don't talk about this enough, is when we start dating somebody, we put our best foot forward. We, do all the things. We're like, oh, we're very laid back. We let a lot of things slide that we wouldn't normally let slide. 6 months down the road, we certainly wouldn't let slide. And what happens is 3 months goes and all of a sudden the same shit that he was doing before starts to bother us.
Right.
So their true colors come out, your true colors come out, and you're not compatible, but you have feelings.
Wow. It's so true. Like if we we're doing such a disservice when we're not like true to ourselves, and I'm so guilty of that. Like I have
I only know this because I did it.
Right. I mean, we kind of like it's can't blame it all on the conditioning, but like it does have to do with like you have to be a certain way as a woman or as a man. Like you have to carry a certain persona that we learn, but it's about being willing to see that like that's not who I am, and I want to be who the fuck I am.
But that's what spirituality is all about. That's what a spiritual awakening is. A spiritual awakening is becoming aware of who you are.
And who you genuinely are, right?
It's awareness. That's all it is. It's becoming aware that, there's so much more than just the church. There's so much more than the government. There's so much more. Everything. It's a big world. There's expansion. Right. That's what they talk about with expansion. Everyone kind of takes it to this place of like 5D this, and that. I'm like, y'all making it hard again. You don't need to make it so hard. It's really not that hard, guys. It just means that you're becoming aware.
Yes, and 5D is just that. It's the awareness of everything, like, and a higher awareness. That's really, it's not a place, like it's not, and I saw this video about how, the ascension and all of this is just Christianity rebranded.
as spirituality, because and I was like, oh fuck. Like I was
Well,
like,
this is how I always talk about it. We're jumping from one box, one limiting belief, to a new box with more limiting beliefs.
and it's becoming like so, popular that people aren't even seeing that they're, and I was just seeing the good too. I was like, oh, everybody's gonna be better, like, and it would be great if like
we want it. It's okay to hope for that. It's okay to want that.
goals,
It's
yeah,
okay and it's a beautiful thing. It's why, everyone's like, oh, you're loving light. Yeah, I am living light. But that doesn't mean what you think it means.
Right. Exactly.
People think that love and light means that, we don't believe in karma. We don't believe in this and that.
Like toxic positivity.
No, it has nothing to do with that. Living the love and life lifestyle means that you're choosing to look at the glass half full.
Yes. I love that. Like still still seeing everything for what it is, but seeing it from an optimistic perspective.
Right. It doesn't mean that we spiritually bypass things either. Like, oh, well, ADHD is just I'm like, bitch, no, I'm fucking chemically, my brain works differently. I need to go on medication. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean to spiritually bypass through things either. It means that we're learning healthy coping mechanisms. Exactly. Like meditation, like spending time in nature, like intuitive eating.
Right.
Like healing with crystals.
Yes, and seeing that we're capable of healing ourselves, like being, willing to like see the mask and taking it off and looking at the difficult things that we don't want to look at, that we've maybe pushed down, because like that's not fun. But once you get past that part, it's so much more freeing. It's like a whole weight is lifted off your whole, like it's indescribable once you start to really.
Love and light is also about, and trust me, as a witch, and I was brought up hereditary, very dark witch, where I was hexing, I was doing all the things. It took a serious toll on my life. It took a toll on my family. It took a toll on my kids. And so I had to really kind of go within myself and decide, is this worth it to me anymore? And learning that it wasn't worth the sacrifice to me anymore was huge.
Oh,
massive.
Absolutely.
I was like, because, witchcraft isn't free.
No.
And people underestimate it. And everyone's like, I'm a witch and I'm this. And I'm like, listen, I love my witches. They're amazing. They're incredible people. They're valuable people. And we love them. But please understand that a lot of these people, there's a big difference between a TikTok witch and a real witch.
Oh my God. So true. It's so true.
And, people who, you will pay attention to people's lives. If they're a self-proclaimed witch, I'm going to tell you right now that most of the ones who are real witches aren't going to really kind of talk about their lifestyle. It's going to be very, very private. But you will see they live in beautiful homes.
Right.
And their lives are abundant.
Yeah.
And they have loving husbands or wives. They have it all.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting because like I've seen like people, I was going to ask you like what you decide like between like sharing, because you have a practice of some sort that you don't share, and then you have some stuff that you do share. And
I have actually gotten to the point now where I'm very transparent and I share everything.
Cool. Because you don't have, like you said, you're not into all of the like witchcraft stuff anymore, so it's not as.
Well, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that I'm not into witchcraft. I think it's beautiful.
Right.
Like, it's amazing. I think it's incredible. I just know that's not my pantheon.
Right. And and for me, it's like I believe multiple different, like I have like learned from so many different pantheons that it's
exactly. And I think
how label.
It's just not where my guides want me right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But who's to say in 6 months they're going to be like, well, we want you to get back to your book of shadows.
Right. And I think it's evolving. Our beliefs constantly evolve.
Magic is real. No one's saying that spells don't work. I'm not even implying that a little bit. What I'm saying to you is what my guides want me to do is what my guides want me to do. And I would be stupid to not follow their
not listen. Absolutely.
Because they have my best interest at heart. It's not like they're not going to punish me or anything like that.
Right. No, but, I know. It's they have my best interest at heart, and they want the best for me. And what they want for me right now is what I'm doing. Right. Yes, and it's true that like you don't, like when you're truly like genuinely doing something, you don't have to like be so talkative about it. You don't have to tell everybody about what you're doing.
Think about it. That's the thing. It's just like because it's such an integral part of my lifestyle that I don't sit to think here because, you know, I've been on this app for a little over 2 years, and I know a lot of the big creators behind closed doors.
Okay. Right.
And
And
not
you are
everybody is who you think they are.
you are a genuine like energy from like the second I saw like when I saw that video of you, I was like the 12D shield and I started using it in my lives every day. Everyone loved it. Like, and I was always like, oh, I got it from this, you know,
Oh,
Kate.
you're
And
so
like
sweet.
I just like really am very grateful for the people that I have met on the app that are genuine and that I've been able to make a
Getting in
genuine
trouble
connection
because
with.
my daughter got into my makeup again.
Oh, jeez. How old is she?
She's 4,
Okay,
but
okay.
she's a wild 4. And she's like
Luckily,
a
mine's
mama's girl,
asleep.
so like where mama is, she wants to be. She loves her daddy, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's just the way
No,
she
yeah.
is. 'Cause we
That's
spend a lot of
awesome,
time.
though.
Oh yeah, she's my mini me. She's my
I was
sidekick.
just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. So I have one question I just looked at. What's one concept or idea that you would share with people if you had everybody, like the whole human family, everybody in the world's attention for like 2 minutes?
Sorry,
You
I'm
can,
getting yelled
you
at
can
still.
think about that one.
That's hard.
I know. I love that question.
No, it's a great question, but there's so many that it would probably
It is
be
hard.
maybe the 12D shielding.
Right.
If not that, then it would be that, okay, I know what I would be. That spirits are always with you. They're not in some faraway place.
Right. They are with you at all the time. You know what's
All
so
the time.
funny? The other day I got like, because I was like looking for this crystal that like crystals be manifesting all over this apartment, I swear. And
I
so
love that.
one of my guys gave me, I can grab it, hold on. So my best friend passed away about 8 years ago, and she's like one of my main guides. I got my first tattoo here for her, and it's an infinity sign and a J because her name was Julie, and she was a Pisces, and so I got
Does she have
that.
sobriety issues as well?
Yeah, so she OD'd.
I was about to ask you. So she OD'd, and then, but people didn't find her right away?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly what
they
happened.
didn't find her right away. It's funny because she's popping through really, really quickly. Like, finally, you're talking about me. Because she loved to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
She loved being the center of attention. And she
Yeah.
had a sweet tooth. She said she had a serious sweet tooth.
Yeah, and just like me, we really like bonded from the
she
day
showed
we
me
met.
you and gummy candies.
Yeah, yes. Oh my God. I can't. I'm gonna cry. But yeah, so like she sends me crystals and stuff, and you know, I hurt my knee, and so she sent me this green healing crystal, and I was like envisioning green healing light and doing my Reiki on it. And she sent me this crystal, and I was looking around for it, like I couldn't find it. It was in my pant pocket, and I looked in my pant pocket, and it was like deeper, and so I didn't find it right away. And so then I was like running around, like limping around looking for it.
What's the song that you two share?
Oh, there's so many, but the song that
talking about-
she came through, like the first time on one of my lives, she came through with the song Cherry by Ratatat. And it was a song that we like the first time we ever tried acid together. The first time I ever tried it, we listened to it on repeat the entire time. Like the entire time it was like on repeat. And so she came through in one of my lives and I started crying. You know, that song was on and stuff. But I was looking for the crystal and like I just heard you have a whole like apartment filled with guides and you're looking for a crystal. Like they were like, you have like you don't need it, you know, like you know, you don't need the things.
Talk to them 20. I talk to mine all the time in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I
know.
I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, you know, 20 years ago, if I had said any of this out loud, I'd be in some institution by now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard because it's like there's so many different things that I want to talk about, like that I feel nervous to talk about, but it's like you can really say anything at this point as long as you're saying it, you know, to the right people. Like you said,
and
knowing
that's what
your
I
audience.
said about reading the room. It's so
Right.
important.
It is.
Because
It's
it's not, you know,
important.
I have a client. I've been working with him for a while, and he would always go to these dinner parties. He's very well off, and he would always be like, you know, I just want to teach them and guide them. And I'm like, buddy, you got to read the room.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
And in the
message
beginning,
is
it's hard.
lost.
In the beginning, it's like you want everyone to understand it, but it's because it's so beautiful. You want people to see the beauty that you see in the world, like the new, you know, you took off the like
the beer goggles or whatever they say.
Yes, it is like that actually.
It's so much different. Yeah, and it's hard, but like everybody will come into it in their time if they're meant to. And like that's something
if they
I
want
have
to
accept. And if they want to, exactly.
I think that's the biggest thing. Is not everybody wants to, and that's okay.
Right. And it's understandable too.
Yeah,
I mean,
because it's,
it's a lot.
We all come to a fork in our road, and it's like, the healing is usually the hard journey.
Right.
It feels intimidating, at least. Looking back at it, when I made that decision to choose healing, my old lifestyle, I would never.
I was thinking the same thing. That makes so much sense.
It doesn't. It felt, because new is always really hard at the beginning.
Right, it's unknown. It's that unknown territory.
I mean, like changing lifestyle, like quitting cigarettes for the first time was really hard for me. It was hard.
Yeah.
But once I got used to just not smoking, it was I was fine.
Right, because it's you become accustomed to living a certain way. You have to kind of leave that. It's like uprooting out of your comfort zone. But then you realize you weren't even really that comfortable. You just thought you were.
I think they say it takes 66 days to create a habit.
Yes, there's a certain amount of days it takes to do something, right?
So, you just got to tell yourself, if I can make it through 2 months, I'll be okay.
Right. And it goes by faster as you start to live.
Yeah. It gets easier
that way. It becomes like, your lifestyle and things improve. Like compared to what I thought, you know what I mean, I was comfortable in before. This is like top, like I couldn't imagine, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't imagine myself being here 5 years ago. Like,
oh no. But, I mean,
it's like
here's
amazing.
The thing, to be honest with people, you got to understand, like I sometimes will see somebody smoking and want a cigarette.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And that's normal. There's nothing wrong with me.
It's human.
It's like, I have an addiction. I'm an active addict when it comes to nicotine.
Right.
If I were to have one cigarette, I'd be fucked.
Right.
It would take just the one.
Yeah.
No, like literally. Like, and that's why
I left because of the the motorcycle that went by. It was really loud as soon as you said that.
Oh, but it's true.
Like, yep.
If I were to have one cigarette, I'd go right down that path again.
Right. No, that's how I am with, the addictive lifestyle and all the other things that I did. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just that one thing, and I talk about this with, a lot of women, they're addicted to narcissists and they don't even realize it.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So if you give that one narcissist a chance, you're fucked.
Right. Because you're going to get sucked back into the cycle.
You have to be zero tolerance, non-negotiable. You see that narcissistic red flag? I don't care if they're a full-blown narcissist or if they just have narcissistic tendencies. Bitch, run.
Bitch, run.
And not into his arms, the opposite direction.
Exactly. Oh my God. And promise it'll bring you into the arms of someone much better someday.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's I think it's so important too to take that time for yourself, but don't get like for me right now, I'm like working on like myself and stuff, but I don't want to get stuck.
Okay, let me explain something to you. Okay, that's all bullshit. No, it is, because that's the spiritual community telling you, oh, you can't be loved until you're whole, or you can't love until you're whole. My husband took in a broken woman with 2 kids from 2 different baby daddies. I was broken to the max, and all he did was love and support me because I was already worthy and perfectly imperfect.
Yeah.
The way I was. You are absolutely deserving to be loved exactly how you are right now.
Right.
And you are also capable of loving exactly as you are right now, because our soul doesn't understand that we're traumatized.
Yeah.
Because it's just our brain, our physical bodies that are traumatized from environmental experiences. Our soul is still perfect. So don't feel like, oh, I need time. Yeah, sure. Okay, fine. You want some time for yourself? Groovy. But it's not necessary. Right. Because the right relationship, the healthy relationship, it won't fucking matter.
Right. Exactly. It's like, you can still love like I can still love everybody else that's in my life in a healthy way. So why wouldn't I be able to have a healthy relationship if it's with a healthy person?
Can. And it's not that you don't, it's because you don't believe that you're worthy of it yet.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
So once you change that narrative right now and you say, I was born worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy to have all the things I've ever desired and then some. Because I was born that way.
Yes. And that's one other thing that like kind of blows my mind about, like, because I was raised Catholic and stuff, and it's, they say we're born with this taint or whatever, we have to be baptized and whatnot.
Well, yeah,
And
but
it's like
Catholicism
children
was
are
nothing but a
pure.
government.
Right. Children are pure. Like, I don't know. It bothers me because it's like, what is more pure than a baby? You know what I mean? Like, what is more purely like innocent and like love? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yes, we're born worthy. We're born in
Fear is the most
love.
powerful weapon in the world, and it's how they
Yes.
control the masses as it is. It's why when
Exactly.
people, I'm so against conspiracy theories. Sure, there's probably a lot of truth to a lot of the conspiracies that are out there. Probably.
Right.
They all stem
But
from
it doesn't-
something, but they put you in that fear mindset.
100%. Even if it's true, what are you gonna do about it? Like, what can you do?
You are not going to do anything about it. You're
Right.
not going to go
Except like
grab a
go
spaceship
down that
and
rabbit
shoot
hole.
down all the reptilians. It's not going to work like that.
Exactly. Like, all you're gonna do is just like perpetuate it more by talking about it, honestly.
Right. By allowing it to control you.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I kind of learned that the hard way when I was in school. Like I went through this really scary awakening, and it was because I was so caught up in like wanting to heal all of these different you're fine, all of these different conspiracies that I was looking into, and like I felt the truth in a lot of them, but like I also felt the fact that like I couldn't really do anything, and that like it broke me, like it tore me
it
apart.
breaks you. It literally, what happens, it's 3:00 in the morning and you're watching on YouTube these conspiracy theories.
Oh, I didn't go to school for a month. Like I was out of class for a month. It was really, really, it was bad.
Because it's psychosis. It's scary.
It was.
And the only reason why I know about it is because I went through it myself.
Yes, it was. And yeah, I just recently started really like talking about it because it was really scary. But now I see like I'm not the only one. Yeah. And yeah, now I see other people talk. I'm like, wow, like other people have been through the same thing that I went through, and
it's scary that it's important that we talk about it, because if you think about it now, all the people on TikTok, all the people on Instagram and everything that are perpetuating these crazy narratives, about how they speak to their guides, or how this, it's not healthy.
No, and that's and it comes to a point where like we have to be able to, like I said, discern and like just like you said, block out that outside noise and be able to just focus on your path and doing what, like I also heard this other like thing about, it's not about finding your purpose, it's about living with purpose, like,
and creating it.
Yes, and everything, like you said, everything you do it mindful, do it with intention, do it with purpose.
Absolutely, because that's what we used to do. Everything we used to do hundreds of years
ago
was because everything, it was different. We weren't in this mindset of instant gratification.
Fast.
If we wanted butter, we had to go to get the milk, and then if we wanted, we'd have to churn it. And it was a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you had that intention of, I want butter, so I'm going to go get milk. Everything was intention. Or we build our house up on this hill so that the water doesn't flood this. You know what I mean? Everything was done with some sort of intention, whether it was metaphysical or physical.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I think we're starting to understand and remember again, but it's going to take a lot of time to like, well, it doesn't have
to. People are so desperate for something more, some sort of connection, because we've been disconnected for so long because of technology.
Right.
Technology is great. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful. Yeah. Look what we're doing right now. This is amazing.
Right.
But this is a healthy way to use it. Going down the conspiracy rabbit hole is not.
Exactly. And there's like once again, there's people like, there's actually I think it's a mental health disorder that they have come, I don't know what the name of it is, but with kids that are, too attached to their devices. And different.
The iPad kids, it's a thing. We do serious screen time in this house because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to be able to like find a way to help everybody that is going through some kind of like unhealthy coping mechanism, and I know it's not about that, but like I want to be able to. But
you can that can be the big goal at the end of the day.
Right.
You can manifest that by okay. So you look at it like this. What do you want?
I wanted my course to be launched and be successful so I can help people
Okay,
change
great.
their lives.
So
Yeah.
that's what you want. Now you just start taking actions towards that. They don't have to
Right.
be the specific actions, as long as you start taking actions towards it.
Right.
Because you're gonna learn along the way what works and what doesn't work.
Yes. Purpose. What was another? Purpose reveals itself in motion.
Absolutely.
Like you can't learn to drive a car that's parked, stuff like
And then
that.
the third step you want to do is figure out what's holding you back.
Myself.
Right. So, and then finally, you have to make a concrete decision. And what a concrete decision is, it's a non-negotiable. This is what I do now. This is my lifestyle. If you know that, you have to wake up every single morning and build your at 5 a.m. to make sure that your course is getting to where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Every single morning you have to wake up at 5 a.m. That's your concrete decision.
You guys enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. I had such a great time talking to Kate, and if you guys are interested in getting to know her more and learning about what she does on a deeper basis, you guys can check her out at the links below. Have an awesome day, you guys.